Warning, today's episode of Everything vs. Everything contains some strong language.
Everything versus everything. Fight!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everything vs. Everything. This is episode 10. That's one of those party things that you put in your mouth. What are they called?
Party blowers? Party
Blowers?
whistlers?
Maybe blowers.
I'm not comfortable with the term blowers.
No, that's not fair enough.
Okay, yeah. So we're into double digits, and it's
Hooray!
exciting. We made it here.
We've made it.
It doesn't feel like we're on the 10th one of these.
How time flies.
We haven't really got anything special planned. Sorry about that, but we are gonna talk about some things. Oh yeah, I should actually introduce people. I'm Alex.
I'm Alanna.
Yay! And this is
Euan.
Woo! Today we're going to be talking about things and ranking them in order from best to worst, adding to our already ridiculously long list of 71 things, and trying to make sense of the world. So, without further ado, let's get to Bring a Thing! In Bring a Thing, everyone on the panel brings a thing, and it can be anything in the world.
Anything.
Anything.
Anything at all.
Who wants
Not even in the world, actually.
Yeah, it could be outside
Anything
the world.
in the known existence. of
Wow.
things.
Or in not existence. We have stuff on the list that doesn't actually exist.
Yes, existence and non-existence.
And we have the concept of reality on the list as
We
well.
do.
So that's a
fun.
fun discussion. It's not at all difficult to
We're
place
so
that.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about this ridiculous thing now.
You want to begin, Alanna, or?
Yeah, my thing is a concept. It's quite topical to me because I would like to talk about marriage.
Oh.
Wow.
So for anybody that doesn't know, I got engaged last year and I am getting married next year.
Hey, congratulations.
Yay.
Woo.
But it's been quite a personal turmoil. Gosh, that makes it sound awful. No, not in that way. I'm very, very happy. But I was never the type of girl that thought I was going to get married. In fact, I was staunchly against marriage at one point in time. And yeah, just trying to reconcile with myself that now I'm in a place where that's right for me and it's actually something that I want. Whilst that's been wonderful, it's also made me think about, well, what does that mean about these principles and things that I thought and how I felt when I was younger? How that's changed as I've got older? So yeah, I mean, I think marriage is wonderful and it's totally going to be right for me and Neil. I know that, but marriage isn't always right for some people. And my parents, God love them, were odd in so far as they got married when I was 1, I think, originally. They divorced when I was 6 and got married again when I was 8.
Oh, wow.
And then divorced again when I was 14. So they had a rough time, and I think maybe that's where my impressions of marriage came from, insofar as this is an unobtainable thing. It doesn't really work. Two people don't need to be married to be together. It's a lot easier in a lot of respects not to be married. But that kind of changed. Well, my opinion changed definitely when I met Neil, because I just kept thinking about it more and more, about how I wanted to be married to this person.
Aww.
Yeah, and I think it's weird because obviously the thing that changed was that I met Neil. I can't really explain why my opinion changed, other than the fact that I found somebody I love and it feels right. But marriage is so weird, isn't it? If you think about it, it's just a legality. It's not...
Yeah, it doesn't really change anything in the physical realm. I don't know, it's a ceremony, it's a cultural thing, it's an announcement of a certain type of... It's like a promotion, in a sense, for a couple, potentially.
When we've talked about it as a couple, we definitely think it's really nice to make that announcement, to be saying vows in front of the people that we love the most, and that's really important to us. And also I think it would be nice in the future to be known as being married, to be able to introduce him as my husband and him a wife, and there is something like very bonding about that, and
takes away ambiguity, I suppose. Like
yeah, I think as well in history, marriage for women is not always been great. It's always been seen as more like servitude. If you think about the 40s and the 50s and that kind of era of like housewife, and I can't really get my head around that, and it's probably contributed to my original feelings about marriage. I'm trying not to bring up feminism. I made a promise with myself that I wouldn't.
Come on, you can bring it up here.
But yeah, it's been quite difficult because it raises other questions about am I going to change my name, which is something that, again, I'm finding it really difficult being a feminist. It's like, do I have to take his name? And I know I don't have to, and I know that he's not bothered, but I want to, and that surprises me, the fact that I want to as well. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it with you guys and see what your thoughts on marriage was.
Yeah, it's definitely a valid point that it has traditionally been not necessarily the best thing from a feminist point of view in certain cultures anyway. But you're lucky that you met someone who you know that is not going to go that way. He's not going to expect you to be a servant.
No.
So yeah, it's what you make of it, I suppose. Like, it doesn't have to mean the same thing to everyone, and I know a lot of people do have a problem with it. I think more and more people are saying, you know, I'd never get married, and sometimes they change their mind and say, I am getting married. It is what you make of it. And I suppose it's taking power back, I suppose, and saying we're going to use it to express our commitment to each other. We don't need all the stuff that's traditionally come along with it necessarily, because that's not relevant to us.
I think that's definitely where we stand, and that's how I am reconciling with myself about getting married, and it's something that I felt quite anxious about initially, and I'm now starting to feel really good about it. So
It's an interesting one. Again, it's something that sort of it has existed for quite a while. I mean, even before it was like a kind of servitude thing, it was also like used as like a business agreement between two clans in a way to sort of say we strengthened by this alliance of unions and that kind of stuff. But then I think the Romantics came along and made it more about love a little bit, and then it became something else. So it's been a lot of different things over years, and now it's become something that's like it's not much more of a choice now. Well, before, I think for ages it was like something that eventually had to happen, or else you weren't a complete couple, which is weird to think. But now it's become more like, oh, we could be married, or you could just be partners, or similar things, or it could be a more loose agreement than that kind of thing.
That's nice. It's sort of liberating. Like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I imagine that you would feel less comfortable about it if it was something that there was more pressure on you to do.
Absolutely,
because there's no pressure to do it, you feel like it's your choice.
It's been like everything in our relationship, a mutual agreement, and that's why it feels so good. I mean, I do know couples that have been together, you know, over 10 years that they've told us that marriage isn't for them, and I respect that, and I can see why they wouldn't. But for us, it feels totally right. But yeah, it surprised me a little bit, and in a nice way.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to have where you're in that situation. Anything that is like you discover is like, actually, I would want to do that. That's always good. And if you don't want to do that, that's also always good. It's following whatever you feel like doing. That's what's great about it, kind of thing.
I think it's hard changing an opinion as well. This ingrained opinion that you've so staunchly stuck to all your life and told multiple people, I'm never getting married, and I'm sure my parents have heard me say that so many times. And then they get to have the pleasure of saying, I told you would, and that really winds me up. So, but I'm big enough to admit that it's my prerogative to change my mind. And
that's the thing. If you feel like change your mind and you don't do it because of your previously set beliefs, I think it's an issue of character there a little bit. You're being detrimental to yourself, really.
Agreed. So yay for marriage.
Yay for marriage, and yay for not marriage as well.
Certainly in this case, definitely yay for marriage. There are certain cases where it's been a bad thing historically, in certain specific cases, and
even for
in certain cultures it's been perhaps used in a way that is not the best.
And not just got a person that's actually a part of the union, but also for the children of that person, because of the whole thing of like before, if children were born out of wedlock, they were looked down upon. I mean, both in history, but also like Game of Thrones, one of the prominent characters is, well, no spoilers, but is in fact part of its culture is that children that are born out of wedlock in Game of Thrones are looked down upon quite heavily, in fact.
Exactly, yeah. So this is going to make it really difficult to place it on the list, I realise, because we're talking about it in such a broad way. So I can only go on my own experience of marriage. So at the moment, with it being quite topical, and taking up a lot of my time and thoughts, I'm list it quite high, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I think, I mean, if nothing goes wrong and if everything's all good, marriage is always a good thing for two consenting adults.
Yes. And James and Laura have got married last year as well.
Exactly,
It's almost, in fact, as we record it, their anniversary is tomorrow.
Happy anniversary, James and Laura.
Yeah, it'll be late by the time this comes out, but yeah. You know that we were recording it then.
Yeah.
We were thinking of you.
Yeah. And that was lovely. Yeah, I mean, you're not really talking about weddings here, I guess. That's its own whole topic. So marriage is a bigger thing than just wedding.
It's a bigger thing. It's union. The wedding kicks it off, but if it was about weddings, I'd talk a bit more about it because I've been a wedding videographer, so my career improved because of people's weddings. So I would definitely argue for them in a sense.
You can bring that to a later, maybe after you get married.
I'm like, thank God that's over.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it was just your upcoming marriage, then I would put it very high because I'm happy with
Alanna's marriage.
Yeah,
invested in
it. On the list.
Considering it's more
marriage in general.
A lot of other stuff in it as well.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very difficult.
We need to put it above Furbies. I'll put my foot down.
But you've not heard the Furby episode yet.
Yeah, you know they start speaking their own language, Furbish, and then they slowly start speaking English the way you have them.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Furbish?
That is pretty cool.
Well, you'll learn that and more on that episode. I can understand that marriage is maybe better than Furbies.
It does seem a bit to me that marriage is a bit below Furbies, but
it's a serious thing. It's also got these like the ruby anniversary, the diamond anniversary, where like milestones that you can sort of like say we were together for this amount of time. It's kind of almost help it be like a game in a sense. Where like
maybe if you ask me again in 10 years, I think of marriage.
We can revisit this. Hope we'll still be going in 10 years.
Well, that's
reminder in the diary.
Because I mean, like for a long period of time, like it wasn't legally allowed to break a marriage or divorce, or unless it's very extreme circumstances. And then when it became more of a thing that people were allowed to do, just if they were having a problem with it, then divorce rates quite skyrocketed in a sense. Because I guess people who got married very young at the time, 16 or that kind of thing, they obviously weren't married to the right person for later on in their life.
I mean, nobody gets married thinking they're gonna get divorced because you're not doing it right. If
you're not doing it right. Unfortunately, some people haven't done it right. Yeah. So, but the vast majority, I think, good intentions were always the way.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a shotgun marriage.
I just want to clarify that it's not.
It's not a shotgun marriage. Fair enough, Alanna.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I don't know where to place this. I feel like you should probably have the most
It feels like an important thing. But yeah, you brought it, so you can give us the first.
I think I want to place it quite high. Mm-hmm. Maybe above 1984.
Where's 1984 again?
That's number 9.
You just want to push that down, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Under Bob Dylan.
I was definitely going to put it above drums, so yeah, I feel like
be alright.
In the same year. 1984 marriage,
Because I'm kind of recognising that Bob Dylan's had a larger impact on the world than...
I mean, marriage has probably had a pretty large impact, but it's probably done more harm in some cases.
Yeah,
there's definitely...
I want to recognise that marriage is not for everyone as well. It's definitely a choice.
It's harmed people and couples before. We were not going to go with a totally like rosy kind of everything's perfect lovey-dovey, but it can be a very good thing, but also can be not a good thing.
Okay, I'll go along with being above 94 just because it's a bit more cheerful.
94 is still in the top 10.
It is for now.
For now.
I'll go next. Okay, so my thing is a website and Facebook page called Word Porn.
Wow.
And this is a thing that I have very mixed feelings about.
Googling word porn as we speak.
Have you not seen any word porn
Be
before?
Careful, Alanna, that could be a dangerous Google there.
It's a dangerous Google.
I think I might have seen...
The way that the way that I usually see it is other people liking posts that they make and they pop up on my feed.
Mm-hmm, okay.
Are they one of these pages that are kind of...
It's basically
pushing
a page.
An agenda?
Not really. It's more like a page that they just post quotes from various people, like on a white background.
Oh, yes, I know. I have seen these.
And it's just like quotes that say various things. And I kind of get it. I like language. I'm a fan of words in general. And word porn kind of makes me a bit insane sometimes because... not because of the content necessarily of the posts, it's just their whole philosophy. And maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, and I'm not saying that people who like posts on it are wrong, because I know very intelligent people who like posts on it, and sometimes that, you know, there are good quotes that are inspiring and say a lot of stuff. But just the way that they cram a load of quotes from different people together and post little out of context snippets.
I think that's the key. It's the out of context.
Yeah, and they have such a varied lot of people on there. They have, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's part of the point. Maybe they're sort of rejoicing in being neutral and not taking a particular stance on anything. But it's weird to see like a quote from Ayn Rand, who's a bit of a mad
Republican.
Just politically is very right wing, kind of everyone should take care of themselves and not help anyone else. But next to like a quote from Gandhi, like you see just such a weird like mix of quotes, and to me it sort of just makes me go, if you like this page and you follow it, you're sort of just, you don't care what the people are saying, you just want them to say it in a kind of catchy, witty way. You're not invested in the content of what they're saying, or the context, or who they are, or what they meant really when they said it. You just want a sort of catchy little slogan about something, and that's gonna stick in your mind and maybe make you think something that you don't really think. If you thought about it more on a more deeper level, you might disagree with it, but because someone's phrased it in a nice way and it was on this web page, maybe you just get swept up on that. And maybe I'm overthinking it massively, but I'm not sure I agree with the philosophy of that sort of thing.
I am on their Facebook page at the moment, and they have a meme or quote, whatever, that says, if you love your best friend, tag them to remind them how beautiful they are and how much they mean to you. I really hate shit like that. I really, really hate shit like that.
I mean, it's just designed to spread itself to as many people as possible, because, you know, when you tag your friend in that, it gets seen not just by your friend, but by all their friends. So it's just a way of, like, virally spreading stuff. And yeah, it has stuff like that, and it's basically one of those pages that seems to exist for the sole purpose of getting likes out of people and stuff like that. And I don't know what the point of it is. They're not really making anything, they're just taking quotes from other people and posting them, and I don't know, I'm probably taking it way too seriously, and it's just a fun thing that people can enjoy. If they agree with the quote, they can like it and it pops up on people's Facebook feed. But yeah, I don't know why I brought it. Also, the name word porn bothered me a bit, because not for
porn.
Not for
too many words,
not so much
porn.
for a prudish reason, but because like it does suggest, as I was saying, that it's not about being enriched by words or anything like that. It's just about like getting a momentary sort of rush of
enjoyment,
satisfaction or enjoyment out of it. It's not about actually taking it in and thinking about it and critically evaluating. And there's a sort of tendency to use the word porn in that context, like
food porn.
You get like food porn or earth porn or whatever, and it's just like pictures of pretty nature things, and it's like, I mean, again, I'm probably overthinking it, but like as someone who is really interested in words and how they're used, the use of that just makes me think this is for people who want the most surface level sort of appreciation of something. Like you want to look at a pretty picture of nature and go, oh, that's lovely, and then just move on. Like that's what porn is, really. That's what it means in that context.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever, that's nice. And you're not gonna... It sort of devalues it in a way. So, you know, and word porn, I feel like, in a weird way, devalues words. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I mean, I've looked on their website. It does seem like a collection of quotes kind of thing. And it makes, again, like the Facebook page does sound like it's one of those Facebook pages that are designed around sort of posting something and getting likes and tags and that kind of stuff. Clickbait stuff, which, I don't really always like that kind of stuff, but it exists and that's how it's going to be.
I don't think it's going to destroy society or anything.
I don't think it's the worst thing on social media to destroy society.
I think I would be hypocritical to say, because I'm sure I've liked
I'm sure
it.
I have done as well, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't, because like I've done as well, and you know, sometimes I'll see something possibly even on word porn and go, oh, that is a good quote actually, like one that I recognise, and I'm like, yeah, that's good.
But the difference is it means something to you for a reason.
You know, and this is one of the things where maybe I'm being a snob and I'm not giving people enough credit. Maybe when people like things on there, it's because they really do mean a lot to them, but I do get the impression they're trying to like just pick out these quotes that
quite cynical kind of
aren't necessarily saying much all the time, but are very likeable in the Facebook sense of the word.
I mean, I can kind of understand like it could be designed in a sense where it's like sort of those earth porn or food porn things where you just have an inkling or an itch that you want to sort of see a bunch of quotes kind of thing, going a little bit of a quote binge. So you just go on the website and just like scroll through.
It's like those satisfying videos where it's like something fitting perfectly into something else. Have you seen those? Just like a video compilation of like, here's the most satisfying,
oddly satisfying stuff. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know, because if we're talking about sort of what quotes are and that kind of stuff, I kind of like quotes. I think quotes are very effective. But we're talking about this particular website that's kind of almost not manufactured quotes, but like they've kind of used the significance of putting a quote in some place and sort of they made a business out of it.
And they've sort of, in their name, again, I'm reading a lot into it, but it's because they're people who probably would claim to be fans of words, and if they care about words, they would think very carefully about what they call themselves. Because they call themselves word porn, it just makes me think they don't really want people to get anything lasting out of this, or like...
Maybe
enriching,
but they're also
to give people a little bit of
They're also a business model, I believe. So that's quite in terms of like a branding. It's quite a effective sort of straight to the point kind of branding.
Do they sell merchandise with quotes or anything like that?
I think it'll be ad based
probably. I don't know.
Let's have a look.
Wow, you're actually doing research.
They might actually sell like T-shirts with quotes on them or that kind of stuff.
I should have researched more. I just kind of.
Oh, you can subscribe to. Oh wow, there's an app. Why would you want to get an app?
There's a few apps out there that are popular, which I don't know why about. So.
No, it doesn't look as though they've got any.
Okay.
It feels like a kind of a Tumblr thread that became its own thing.
Now that I've ranted about it, and you guys are fairly seem not as
offended,
seem not as down on it as I am. I think. Yeah,
it's good to get it off your chest, though, Alex. I think
it wasn't. It's not that I hate it. It's just that I had stuff to say about it that I wanted to say.
That's cool.
I would say that the website is considerably better than their Facebook page. I would say
there's less clickbaity because they're not directly trying to get people to click like on everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I think well quoted quotes. They do illuminate you a little bit, kind of thing. Seeing the right Oscar Wilde quote or something like that. It can be a little bit of just makes you. It gives you a little brain exercise or something. It just makes you think about. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Kind of thing.
I'm feeling quite indifferent towards word porn. I must admit, I don't think that they're the worst thing in the world.
No, probably
definitely
not.
Piers Morgan's still there.
Still there.
Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't put it down in the Piers Morgan area. That's specifically for just him mainly.
The bad stuff. Alright, where are you going to put it, Alice? Where would you say?
I mean, I put it fairly low down, but that's because we don't have that many really bad things on the list, so I'd probably put it below East 17.
I thought you might. It feels like in the same reign of like word twists.
Yeah, word twists and word porn are kind of close. I'd probably put word twist above word porn.
Okay.
Actually, because I enjoyed it more when I played it. Better than teleportation though, because word porn doesn't potentially kill you and replace you with a clone of yourself. So
you'll have to listen to that episode as well.
I had some strong thoughts on teleportation.
Yeah. I had some positive thoughts on teleportation, but...
So where are you putting it?
I'm putting it below word twist above teleportation.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Yay. So is it me now?
Yes.
Alright, well... Today I brought for my thing Michelangelo's David.
Wow.
Nice to class the place up.
You're welcome. Michelangelo's David, for those who don't know, it's a very famous sort of marble statue of David, the David that versed Goliath back in the day, and it's very famous in the art world, and especially in like the ancient art world. Michelangelo made it when he was 26, actually, which is pretty young. It's the same age as I am, so
considerably younger than I am.
But if you think of how long he was potentially going to live for, it might have been halfway through his life. So there's always that way of putting it. We're still winning, Michelangelo.
Maybe. I don't know.
Damn you. But I think it's in the 15 something other. I'm maybe just going off my head, but quite ancient. It was around the same time that Da Vinci was about as well.
1504.
1504. Hey, I wasn't too bad.
Well done.
I've seen it in person. I've been in Florence where it's held, and it's held in a kind of art academy place. To be honest, Michelangelo's David is the big thing in the academy, and the rest of the stuff is all okay, but you know what you're there for, kind of thing.
Is it quite big in scale?
It is big in scale. It's like you go into the place and then it's got like the sort of particular room, which is like a sort of corridor kind of thing. And it's a big corridor, and then right at the bottom of the corridor is the statue there, and it's standing, and straight away you can see it. And my experience of actually going to see it, because I was in Florence mainly just to go visit Florence, because I was going around northern Italy a little bit, and I realised, Michelangelo's David's here. That's definitely a tourist thing to go see, kind of thing. And you always hear people, I heard more talking about like the Mona Lisa, where like it's different when you see it in person compared to when you see it like on TV or that kind of stuff. And I had that kind of experience when I went in to see Michelangelo's David, because you do walk in and you're just, for me, there was just a weird feeling. It's like being in the room with like a famous person or a celebrity. You just see it and it's like, oh. And you do look at it and you do actually see there's something about it that just feels like it does feel perfect, if that makes any sense. Like, it's apparently one of the things about it is the fact that it's so well sculptured as like the human form. And it's right, like the marble statue does look like it could come alive. It's bigger than a human, definitely, like its size compared to us. But it also feels, it does feel almost like a kind of a demigod-like kind of figure, and you just, I don't know, when I was walking in and I saw the people around it as well, your gaze is drawn to it and you just like have to stare at it for a little bit of time. It's very unique experience that I've never had ever since then or before that. It's just one of those life experiences that I kind of feel like, wow, that's really cool. And it's a piece of work that a guy was able to pull off back in the day, like ages ago, and to see that kind of level of perfection like pulled off is amazing kind of thing anytime that happens. So yeah, I can understand why it's revered in a sense. And another fact I heard, during World War II they actually built a brick structure around it to protect it from the bombs going off from the planes flying around, and they were very serious in protecting it. And it's had some like restoration in 2000 or something like that, but they very rarely do anything to it because it's a marble statue and that kind of stuff, but they have to sort of keep it going a little bit. I've even heard that they've built a structure around it to stop the steps from tourists around them from damaging the marble, because over the years all those steps and vibrations do actually deteriorate it bit by bit, which is another interesting little factoid. It was just something that was quite unique experience to me, and I wasn't expecting it to have an effect on me, but it does, and it's still something I do remember quite a bit. So yeah, Michelangelo's David, there you go.
Did you see its willy?
Yes, I did see its willy.
How long have you been holding that?
A very long time.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful to hear you talk about that kind of experience, because when I went to see the Mona Lisa, I was seriously underwhelmed by it. And that makes you feel like, what's wrong with me as a person?
Yeah, I kind of was similar actually.
But then, I have been in other places where I have got that kind of sense of reverence. So yeah, I think it's really nice that you've had that experience with David.
I think I know David. Oh, me and David. Oh,
you go way back.
Yeah. Oh, still a big fan of his.
In his small willy.
Anyway,
Exactly.
sorry about that. Do you know what it was? Was he representing something, or just the human form in general?
I mean, one was the human form, but I was reading about how he was sort of to represent disobedience a little bit. Because again, are you going to be laughing? I'm laughing a bit now.
No, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good.
You're good for.
I'm gonna not look at it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
There's a famous Simpsons episode about it as well, where like Marge has done a thing where she's got an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon taken off the air because of the violence and all that, and then Michelangelo's David is visiting the Simpsons place, and the same committee that took the episode off the line, they now want to get Michelangelo's David putting a pair of trousers on or something because of children can't see this naked man, it's very inappropriate. And she's like, no, that's a piece of art, it should be.
Yeah, I mean, we have a tendency to be a bit silly, don't we, when it's like the naked form. But when you actually see these types of things, I don't think there's anything really silly about it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all, this is our form kind of thing. We can't be totally like prudish and all that stuff.
No. I mean, I'm totally of the opinion that we're way too concerned about being naked. But it's like one of those taboos that I think should be shattered, but I'm not going to be the one to do it.
No.
Because I feel like I very much have the insecurity that comes with that cultural taboo. It's very much infected me, but I resent it, and I think it's stupid.
I totally understand why we're clothed all the time, but
I mean, from
I also
a practical sense it makes sense, except on
protection
days like yesterday when it was boiling and you just wanted to.
at the same time, I don't feel like people's bodies should be like feel like, oh god, they're disgusting. You must hide them away.
It's stupid.
Is David meant to be like the perfect masculine form? Is that what is supposed to be the point of?
I think that's one of the things that is propped up over the time, but I believe that originally, just from the Wikipedia page that I read, and I probably read a lot of stuff in the actual place but forgotten that.
There's a lot of information.
There's a lot of information, but apparently he is to do with more civil disobedience, which is kind of the aim of the story of David versus Goliath, where it's a small sort of weaker person up against quite a more powerful kind of presence. And apparently originally, because he was always in Florence, David was originally pointed towards Rome, which obviously it was all the city-states time. So Rome was obviously the big kind of power in Italy, and Florence was obviously always butting heads with Rome as well as the other city-states. And so there, I guess, there's a smaller place where sort of they're making a statement there that sort of like they were seeing themselves as the David versus the Goliath of Rome kind of thing.
Go on yourself, Florence.
Like that fearless girl statue in where is it? America.
Wall Street.
Yeah, because it's a bull.
Which I've got my own opinions on that kind of thing, but no, it's
sort of a vaguely similar statement then.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Pointing at the person that their enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
Their enemies are.
They're making a statement from not just like what it is, but also where it's pointed towards as well. The thing also, like, I think there's been other statues of David around the time. I think it must have been a popular story at the time. It was used a lot as an allegory of that. But the other ones are more kind of more combative, where like they've had this sling where they're about to sort of throw it, or he's got like a sort of fighting pose. Well,
yeah, that's
this one's David's much more kind of like or more relaxed, or more kind of like proud, but also not like, too combative. So.
Fuck you, Goliath. I know who I am.
Yeah, he's pretty much happy who he is. And...
This may be ridiculously stupid on my part. I don't know if I'd realised it was the same David from David and Goliath.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, but I didn't want to say it.
That's reassuring.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand maybe people just thought that he was just Michelangelo making a human male, and they just decided to call it David.
Yeah, I sort of...
But no, it is the historical David versus David and Goliath.
I assumed it was Michelangelo making a statement about the masculine form, which just shows my ignorance.
Yeah, I kind of thought that as well.
But I'm sure there's like a lot of it wrapped into it, and also the fact is, I mean, I don't know how much that people know like all the context of Michelangelo David when it comes to all ancient art. There's only so much you can actually get facts for, and the rest of it's down to observations and sort of subjective opinions of that kind of thing.
This podcast is so educational. I'm learning so much.
It is. I'm actually learning quite a lot as well. Yeah, you're actually also reading about Michelangelo's David.
Yeah, you've made me really want to go to Florence to see it now.
It's Florence is lovely as well. We'll maybe put it on the list at some point. There's a lot of lovely big churches, but there's a big queue for Michelangelo's David.
Oh, I can imagine.
But it's worth it. It's one of those things where I said it before, it feels like you've just walked in and there's a celebrity in the room. That kind of thing. Because you always feel like, because you're looking, there's other art on the wall and around about, and there's other statues as well, so you're looking at these other ones, like, because you want to sort of have a look around, but at the same time you just like turn around and it's like, oh, is that person, is David over there as well? So.
Just looking at the photos of it, I mean, it looks perfect, doesn't it? It's just...
Yeah, it is like one of those things that's it's perfect in a sense, which is weird. I mean, there's always like a strive for perfection, or the road to perfection, and most of the time you feel like it's the journey, you can't actually reach it, but you should always strive towards it. But it's one of those rare times where they kind of actually got it perfect.
I wonder whether it was actually modelled on a real life person.
He potentially probably had a mod to sort of work with.
That was one fit model.
Yeah.
So in terms of the list...
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. I think Michelangelo's David probably will go high up. Mm-hmm. I'm probably not wrong in that aspect. I think it's better than drums.
It could be, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But, like, drums are sort of such a big cultural thing that's in almost every culture.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that Michelangelo's David, as perfect and amazing as it is, it's only one thing in one culture.
Yeah.
So,
and, I mean, the culture, I guess, now that it's in is the Western world, in a sense, but it's more of their ancient history version of it.
Yeah, not slagging off.
Yeah. I mean, drums are quite good, and they're integral to being a part of music, I guess, for a lot of it.
How do I feel about David in comparison to grilled cheese sandwiches?
Have you ever had the perfect grilled cheese sandwich yet?
I don't think I have had a perfect grilled cheese sandwich.
We had the recipe for them on episode 5, if you want to go look at that.
Yeah, I need to do some catching up on that.
You need like 4 different types of cheese, though.
That's speaking my language already.
Yeah. It feels to me, at least that's where I would place it, is between Switzerland and drums.
I take your point about drums being like a wider cultural, well, not just a cultural thing, being a wider importance. But I'd be happy to put it above drums, I think. Or are we feeling below drums?
I still feel like I feel at least I'm in the right ballpark.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you two seem to think above drums.
No, I'm happy to put it below drums and above Red Pandas.
I think potentially drums will probably play a significant part in the future as well, to a certain extent being music. It will always be there. And I guess, I mean, Michelangelo's David is great, and it'd be actually a bit of a tragedy if it was lost, but...
It wouldn't really...
It would be sad. It would be really sad if it was like tomorrow's newspaper, like some terrible accident happened and it's now gone.
Especially since it's also James and Laura's wedding anniversary. That'd be terrible.
That would be very bad as well, because it's so important to them, Michelangelo's David.
What I'm hearing is below drums.
Yeah, I think we always need to compromise on this list. Maybe below drums, but it feel above Red Panda this time.
That's fine. Yeah. Good, that's a very classy one. You've been bringing big cultural icons to this, Euan.
Not me to stone, Alex, so...
I
don't know if that works. I'll keep trying. Yes. I'll keep trying.
Okay, so that's the end of Bring a Thing, and we're moving on to Head to Head. Woo! In Head to Head, we pit two ancient rival things against each other, things that have been battling it out since the dawn of time, or at least, I guess, since the Earth formed, in this case, probably. Would that be right, do you think?
Since the sun was there, probably.
Yeah, I mean, the sun was there before the Earth, I think, was it?
I think the Earth came from the sun. Anyway,
let's show our ignorance for no
Glossing
reason.
over pretty quickly.
But today we have day and night.
Wow.
Quite a big debate.
Oh, this is tough. I don't know how I feel about this because I like nighttime.
Yeah.
Because I associate it with coziness and lying on the sofa and reading or watching TV and all those things that I do when I'm not at work. But at the same time, it can be pretty depressing, right? Especially in winter when it's always dark.
Yeah.
And you're sick of getting up and it being dark and coming home
That's
from
true.
work and it being dark.
My least favourite time in winter is probably like when it starts getting dark at like 3 and you're like, this hasn't been a proper day yet. What are you doing, son? Get back here.
Yeah.
Sneaking off early.
There are some people that feel really productive at night time though. I'm not one of those people. But...
I sometimes am more productive at night time. Not always. I go through weird cycles of productivity, but like I sometimes am nocturnal. Like I went through a big phase of staying up till like 4 a.m. every night.
Wow.
And I did actually get a fair bit done in those early hours of the morning. But it's not reliable and it's probably not healthy, and it does make you feel like this isn't what humans are supposed to do. You're supposed to get, is it vitamin D that you get from the sun? You're supposed to soak up some of that. You're not supposed to like sleep through the first half of the day really. It feels healthier to get up early and go to bed reasonably early. But there's something, I don't know, it makes you feel like a sort of rebel. It makes you feel a little bit rebellious when you stay up late and you're like,
I don't really have that because I can't remember the last time that I stayed up past 11 o'clock. My normal bedtime is usually between 9 and 10. Now, I know that's like really sad.
It's not sad.
It's very healthy.
It's healthy and
it's very healthy.
I actually do like getting up early because it sounds like my whole life is just a big game of one-upmanship. Like, I was up earlier than you, but like it's nice to feel like you're awake before other people. I almost feel somehow like I'm more connected to the world if I get up early.
It just feels almost like a magical time if you get up really early, and especially if it's a nice day and you kind of walk in along the street and there's no one and you're so used to it being busy, especially with us living in Edinburgh that's usually always busy and there's no one around. I mean, have you ever walked along Princes Street and in the day and there not been anyone?
It is a bit spooky, but kind of cool.
It feels really weird.
To Princes Street that early.
Yeah, there's also that thing of like you getting up early and you start doing something. You do have that instant feel like, oh, I'm being very productive.
Yeah.
But I also, your point about sort of the rebelliousness of like being in a nighttime kind of thing. I do remember when I was like a kid, the first time or not a kid, but the first time I ever kind of stayed up all night long. There's kind of like that kind of like, ooh, this is a sort of a point in my life here, sort of, which is kind of silly, but at the same time, there's just like something about it.
It's really weird when you first sort of realise, and you know this intellectually, but it's weird when you first see it. When you first see, oh, that's the dawn, and you haven't been to sleep, and you're like, wait, time is just a continuous line. It's not like it's divided up into these little episodes.
Yeah.
It's actually just a continuous line, and you go to sleep sometimes. And if you stay up, you can see that, and it's like it sort of changes the way you see the world. In a weird way.
I think based on what we've talked about, I'm probably more of a day person.
I think in general I am, because nighttime I like in certain circumstances, but also I'm a bit scared of the dark. I'm scared of a lot of things. But,
I think evolutionary wise, we're kind of predisposed to think
exactly,
night has more danger.
I don't
than
necessarily like walking around the streets at night, just in case bad stuff happens. So I've got that sort of fear. It's sort of nice sometimes if you're with other people. It can be quite a novelty, I suppose. But yeah, I think daytime is generally probably better in most ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a whole, I think as a society, we probably are more productive during the day.
Exactly,
Night times are. Though it's always night's good for sleeping and that kind
I
of
think
stuff.
it's probably good that we have both.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it to be day all the time.
There's
Oh god, no.
regions of the world where like the sun doesn't actually set.
that's
quite
so weird.
sort of midnight sun and that
There's
kind
a
of
cool
stuff, which I
video
have.
there's a cool video of I think it's in the Arctic Circle where it's just a video of the sky and the sun is just going round and round it. It's really weird.
And that just as much as like when it's like they also have periods of like total night time as well for all the time, so that can really affect.
I think
you
it can
emotionally.
actually mess with your body clock in a weird way.
I think they've got phrases for it, kind
sick.
of because we as humans we need both. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I think day over night probably.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, okay, yeah, day over night. And this is the tricky part. Where do we place them on our list? Because they're quite vague things, like day. Does that encompass everything that's ever happened during the day? Or is it just, I don't think it should.
No, I
it's
don't
just-
think it
that'd be
should
way
either,
too
'cause
broad.
it would-
Period of time.
Yeah.
It's also got the positive. It's like generally speaking warmer during the day than it is at night. Night's always a bit more cold and chilly.
I think I would put the day above grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh wow.
But not above Cher.
No,
I probably agree.
I mean,
with-
Cher doesn't care whether it's day or night. So.
that's true. I do like, Alanna, how your judging mechanism is whether or not where it jumps between grilled cheese
I
sandwiches.
am very
and not.
aware of that, but it's the only anchor that I have. Let me have it.
I will let you have it, definitely.
Yeah, I might be alright about that, actually. Like, that's
Yeah,
sort of in the right area. Because
because it is important.
It's important, but like it has its downsides. Like it's generally busier and it can be stressful. Sometimes you just want a day to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it varies a lot, but yeah, around there I think it's right. At night, I don't know if it should go that much lower. 'Cause
No.
it's fun. It's nice. It's sort of
Yeah.
There's something you can only do at night,
something.
really. So.
Yeah, there's something kind of spooky. It can be many things. The night can be spooky. It can be romantic. It can be
I would
scary.
put night below grilled cheese
fun,
sandwiches.
exciting.
Above George Foreman.
Above George Foreman, yeah.
Wow, you'll
I-
fight you on
sorry,
that.
I'm-
So.
Would you
pushing
put it?
George
would you
down
put
the
it
list.
below George Foreman?
No, I think if night again is quite important. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of horror films that can only have worked because of night.
But isn't
so.
that a good thing entirely? Because it means that scary things can happen at night.
In the terms of horror films, very much so. I'd be very upset if they didn't work.
Do we think that day and night are so intrinsically linked that they have to be next to each other on the list?
There's a certain poetry to it if that's
Yeah.
the case, but
Because I would perhaps be happy.
it would be a
to
bit weird
concede.
just to have grilled cheese sandwiches in between.
That is true. That is true. Okay.
Okay.
So day and then
you
night.
will reluctantly concede that night is better than grilled cheese sandwiches.
On this occasion, yes.
Okay, cool.
Wow, that's first time that's happened where they've been right next to each other when we
Yeah.
had the head to head. Cool.
So that was head to head, and now we move on to our final main segment, and that is the thing about that.
Bring about that.
And that this time is, what is it? Summertime. Yes,
Summertime.
because it's, as this episode is released, I think summer begins either tomorrow or yesterday. Damn it, I can't remember. It's one of those. It's around now. Around now, summertime is officially beginning in the UK and in the Northern Hemisphere, I guess.
Yay. Happy summer. Ooh.
Yeah, happy summer, everyone.
I struggle to find positive things about summer.
I may be in a similar boat to you, possibly.
I might be in a different boat, so
Oh, okay.
I'll wave from
This
you
is
from a
good.
different boat.
Okay, so who wants to start?
I don't mind starting.
Okay, you start.
So I don't want to be negative. So I am going to bring the Edinburgh Festival
Oh.
Okay.
to the table
Aha.
because that is summertime for us. Living in Edinburgh, you know it's summer when it's festival time.
Well, yeah, especially you're quite close to the centre
Yeah.
right now, so and you also work quite close to the centre.
Yeah, I work close to the centre, I live close to the centre. I cannot avoid the festival because I have to walk through town to get to work and walk home through town. Being English, when I first moved up to to Edinburgh, I'd not actually heard of it before. Now I know that sounds like crazy with it being so like world renowned, and I didn't realise what such a big thing it was. So when it happened that first year, and the population of Edinburgh seemed to triple, I was in shock. Because it makes everyday life such a pain in the arse, especially for me, like for reasons just mentioned. But there's so much good about the festival. I love the creativity. I love the people it brings into the city. I like the outdoor drinking, because I can't gloss over that. That's an important thing about festival for me. And it just seems like I feel really lucky to live in a city that has that going on. For anybody that doesn't know about the Edinburgh Festival, it's just a lot of artists come, pitch up in temporary like pop-up locations even. There's some buildings that don't get opened or aren't accessible to the public, get used as venues, like lots of pop-up bars everywhere, and it literally sprawls across the entire city centre, and it's great, and it's such a varied. You've got music, you've got dance, comedy, it's a big comedy scene. And I'm not really into stand-up comedy, but during the festival, there are always a few comedians that I'll go and see every year, like Bridget Christie at the stand. And I love it, and I do love it on a whole. But yeah, it has its negative associations, and I think that's just because I am an Edinburgh resident. I don't know what you guys feel about
anyone who lives in Edinburgh is going to have a different reaction to it from everyone else, because it does, like, if you're just coming here for that, then you don't get the inconvenience. Well, you get some of the inconvenience, but like you expect it more, and you've signed up for it.
Yeah, you signed
Whereas in Edinburgh, you kind of just have to ride it out.
It does feel like I just want a tattoo on my forehead during the entire month of August, just saying I don't want a fucking flyer. And I start off really nice about it when the festival first starts. I'm like, oh yeah, these people are just trying to promote the shows, and I get that, and it's really nice, and they want to enter a conversation about their show. And then towards the end of the month, I get a bit more aggressive about it. It's like I've been asked so many times whether I want a flyer, and I don't. I really don't.
Yeah,
I get that point.
But like, my experience of the Fringe tends to be, I guess it's not all the Fringe. Like it's confusing because there's like a few different sort of interconnected festivals going on. There's the Edinburgh Festival officially is not the biggest thing. The Fringe is the biggest thing, really. And then I don't really even understand how it all connects. But like, there's also a film festival going on roughly the same time.
Just before it, I think.
And the book festival.
And a jazz festival.
Yeah.
And the jazz festival. We're also massive fans of the book festival.
And an art festival.
Yeah, I like the book festival. But yeah, I don't know if we're including those or if it's just the main.
I think it's.
I think let's just stick to the main, because I could talk more about the book festival. I think.
My experience of it is kind of, usually I'll go into town one day and walk up the Royal Mile and get attacked by fly runners for a while and sort of vaguely see a few street performers, but not get too close to them because they will at some point demand money. And there's always lots of people, like weird statues and stuff standing there, and I usually go to a few things, but not that many. I think I take it for granted to a large degree because I live here and it happens every year, and it's just like...
There is a certain guilt as well when people ask me, it's like, oh, what have you been to see at the festival? And there have been occasions where I've only been and seen one thing or two things, and people are astounded because obviously they travel here and they stay here for periods of time specifically for this. And I've got a friend that loves coming up during festival time, and she just can't understand why I'm not doing more. And because it becomes a bit of a drag.
Yeah, it does, and
it's expensive.
It can be expensive. Even the free Fringe, which I tend to get dragged to by some of my friends, like sometimes, and they're like, but it's free, and then you go there, but it's not free because you have to pay. You have to pay at the end. You can't just walk out at the end.
Well,
like they hold.
Well, I would.
You could. You could if you weren't me. Like I couldn't just walk past someone who's like done a whole show for me and is like politely holding out a bucket like and saying, "Can you just give me a minute?"
I've never been to anything truly awful. I've been to some shows that weren't great, but you do hear some horror stories about really awful shows, which I think that is half the fun of looking at this big like catalogue of events and thinking, right, I'm going to give this one a go, and it looks so random, and finding out whether it's good
I'm scared of audience participation in case that happens, because you never know with just little sort of indie like theatre productions or stand-up, you never know how audience-based they're going to be, and if they're going to drag you up on stage and make fun of you for half an hour.
So there is one show that I consistently go and see, so I think I've seen it 3 times now, maybe 4, and it started off as a free show, but even at that point there was always massive queues for it. It was at like 1:00 in the afternoon, and I never got to see it on a free occasion just because they always reached capacity. But then it was that popular, it became its own thing, and now tickets for it are quite expensive. It's called Ostentatious. Now they're amazing, and I think they do some stuff in London, and they do tour around the UK. But basically, at the start of the show, the audience has to submit their idea for a title of a Jane Austen novel.
Oh, that's cool.
And then this group of actors that are dressed up in period dress, and they have a few like different costume things like hats and shawls and things. They'll improvise like a play based on the
style of Jane Austen.
Yeah, in the style of Jane Austen, and it's always hilarious. It's always the same people that have done it every year, and I would go and see that consistently, and I would recommend it to everybody, whether you're a Jane Austen fan or not, because it's always very funny. The last one I went to see was called What Bojo Said, based on like Boris Johnson, and it was very, very funny. And I mean, I don't want to harp on that specifically.
No, it's good.
Just talking about the festival as a whole. I think it's largely positive for me.
Yeah, it is for me as well. And I've heard mixed things from the people who actually perform in it. It's very difficult to make money at it, apparently. A lot of acts just lose money there and do it for the
trying to get their
publicity.
name out there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not perfect in terms of as a commercial thing.
No.
But yeah, it's good. I like it. I would miss it if it was gone, probably. I do take it for granted to some extent, and that's probably why I don't see much at it usually.
Sure, every Edinburgh resident does.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, we tend to focus more on the negatives of it, because it does seem like it comes round every month, whereas actually it's once a year. But yeah, for the last few years I've seen Johnny and the Baptists. If you want to see a show, that's a good one.
That's a good
it's
one.
Musical, political, sometimes political, silly comedy stuff.
Yes.
It's good.
Very good. No, I do like the festival, and I understand the inconvenience it can be, specifically if it's on your work route for that. I do think there should be like a sort of Edinburgh residence pass that means that you don't get bothered by flyers, and you get a certain part of the pavement just for yourself.
And this is a really general sweeping statement, and I know it's hypocritical because I've been a tourist in other cities before, but tourists are so fucking annoying. Like, why do you think that bus drivers are like their personal tourist guide? Like in the age of technology, where information is so accessible right now at our fingertips, tourists consistently still manage to get on a bus and feel that they need to ask the bus driver where it is to go, and that is really annoying to people that's using public transport to get to places like work. So that's my rant over. I do like you tourists. Continue to come to Edinburgh and give us money. Thank you. Thank you,
we
please.
appreciate you in theory.
I'm also going to say, as because I've experienced the festival as a person going to it, as a person who's worked as a flyer in it, and so I've been on that evil side.
Sorry, Euan.
No, but I was a very bad flyer, so I wouldn't have probably flyered you, Alanna.
Because I would have had my fuck off face on, and you would have known I'm not going to give a flyer to
I mean, I probably shouldn't say this because maybe my boss, well, at the time, might have been listening. It's very unlikely, but I was more of a kind of like just held it out kind of flyer, and if someone wanted to get it, they would have to come to me for it. I wasn't a chasing kind of flyer, which I feel is the nicest type of flyer.
How many people would you say actually took them on average?
A day, maybe about, that's hard, maybe 40, 50 people potentially.
Okay. It's not too bad.
It depends on what day it was, kind of thing. But but we always started with like hundreds of flyers, and you must go for loads in the festival. It's a crazy amount of
I want to like run through the streets of Edinburgh shouting, think about the environment, recycle your flyers.
At least a couple of forests have been taken because of that, which is really sad. I've also worked behind the scenes on a Fringe show, which I'd hope none of the people that were involved in it or that lost it, but I would probably rate as a bad show. So you might not have been to one yourself, but I have been to one that I had to be at for the whole month of the Fringe.
Wow.
So yes, so it can be quite an interesting. But I've also like worked in like Fringe hosting venue operation, which my pass meant I could go see any Fringe festival that's hosted in that time. So I got to see loads that year, and that was pretty cool because you see a wide variety of stuff, and yeah, really exciting in that kind of way. So it can be really cool if you're involved in the Fringe to a certain extent, because it feels like Edinburgh transforms into a completely different place in your mind. And
it does. You start seeing it from other people's perspective, and that's really cool.
And the fact that like places, the pop-up venues that weren't at all that beforehand, like transformed in a sense, and it's kind of like weird. Edinburgh becomes more a kind of a fantasy city for a certain bit at the time. I don't know.
Like Wonderland.
Yeah, exactly, it is. And there's some like really big things happen, and there's sort of fireworks at the end that sort of like finishes it off. So there's a lot of positives to it, and I do love that Edinburgh has it. It's like, as the city that I come from kind of thing, it's like one of the things that like we can sort of say, oh, well, your city might be fantastic, but Edinburgh's got the international Edinburgh Festival.
It's the biggest arts festival in the world, I think.
It is, yes.
We can still claim that.
We should have probably said that earlier on. It is the biggest arts festival in the world, FYI.
FYI.
So yeah, above grilled cheese sandwiches.
That's our judging mechanism now.
Oh,
so.
dude. Oh, hard. I want to say below. Grilled cheese sandwiches have more of an impact on my daily life than the Edinburgh Fringe Festival does. What do you guys think?
I feel it would give the festival a bit of service if grilled cheese sandwiches were above it. To be honest with you, the amount of like stuff that's done over the
reality
many
is
years.
below grilled cheese sandwiches.
That's fine. Reality's not that great. So
Are you guys feeling it's quite high up? What's your thoughts?
I think it's a high up.
I think it should be. I mean,
there's often like rubbish shows and inconveniences.
But that's all part of the sort of.
It's part of the charm.
You wouldn't really want to get rid of all the rubbish shows.
Oh no!
It's all
no,
a big tapestry of different sort of people coming together.
And we might think they're rubbish. Somebody else might
I mean,
think
I've seen ones. I've seen ones that were questionable, but they were sort of charming in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain DIY qualities of some of them where you're like, I don't really know like what's going on here, but like these people, they seem to be an audience who are into this, and I can respect that. It's not my thing, but it's nice to get such niche things in this big mixing pot.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Okay, I would maybe put it. It gives me an opportunity to put 1984 down the list.
Oh wow! I don't know if it would go that high for me.
I don't know if it should go above.
I feel it could go around where the 40-hour film project would be.
Yeah, that might
That's
be a good
also an
place for
event.
it.
Maybe it could go above that, because that's mostly for us, that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot fewer people who engage in that.
A lot more people know about the Edinburgh Festival, to be honest. So
maybe that is a good place for it.
yeah, maybe just above that.
Okay, below pangolins.
Yeah, when pangolins stop being endangered, we'll put them below it.
Yeah.
But again, you're still not doing that well, pangolins, so we'll keep cheering for you.
Excellent. That was a very good one. Okay, should I go next? Or
Yeah, if yours is the more negative, I've got more positive.
Okay, cool.
One,
It'd be nice to
finish
end on a positive, because mine is not positive either.
Okay.
I mean, yours was pretty positive.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to be more negative than that. I will go with being sweaty. Now, this is the defining characteristic of summer for me. Basically, just being unable to stop sweating at any time. I can have a shower in the morning, very thorough shower, and then step outside, and within about 30 seconds, I feel like I haven't had a shower. I just feel like I've been just running a marathon. And it's terrible. I hate it. It's my fault because I'm overweight, but it's...
I'm also a very sweaty person.
Me too.
Well, that's good. As long as
It's not good. I wish it wasn't the case.
I don't mind as much when other people are sweating as well, but sometimes I'm the only one, and it's terrible, and I feel very self-conscious about it.
See, I think the thing is visible sweating. Is it may not be visible that I'm sweating, but it's rolling down my back type.
Back sweat. I hate back sweat.
Yeah, back sweat.
It's the worst. And just wearing your deodorant on your back doesn't seem to do anything.
No.
For me, at least. And it's not... Sweat looks different on TV. There's a certain sexy kind of sweat that you get.
Yeah.
I hate the sexy sweat.
like
I've never had that in my
on
life.
a sort of toned guy on TV, it looks like that probably like smells like pine forest. It's just like beads of clear liquid that are like the condensation on a Coke can in an advert.
Yeah.
It's just, you just want to lick it off. But
maybe not that much.
But when it's me, it's like, it's horrible. I just smell like that episode of Mythbusters where they put like 2 dead pigs in a car and left it for months.
Oh wow,
Alex, that's
an interesting analogy.
That's how I imagine it.
Okay.
It's just
well, there's also like the kind of sweatiness on films in which the person's very untrustworthy and kind of
true.
Panicking.
It can be a nervous
so.
habit, but for me, it's usually I have a pretty low tolerance for heat. Like I just want to be cold all the time, really. Which is why I never wear a jacket usually, and people criticize me for that. But I can't stand
It's not a criticism;
sweating.
it's an observation.
Okay.
Change your language.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't be so negative all the time. I haven't found a solution that works for me.
No.
I don't know if there is one.
So just for listeners, we have on the table a can of Magicool, which
I bought that this morning in Tesco for £5 because yesterday was so boiling. I was just like, I can't deal with another day like that.
and it's a hot weather cooler, which is ready showed. Instant body and face cooling spray for adults and infants. So it describes itself as being instant heat relief in sun-baked cars, cools people, pets, hot air and surfaces. It is pretty good. We had a spray of it earlier, didn't
Yeah. So Magical, if you're listening, please sponsor us.
Yeah, but it's only a temporary solution. It's like artificial sweat.
I guess.
But it's not. It's not disgusting. It's just like nice and watery. It smells a bit
hear it.
metallic. Here's the sound of it.
Look at that.
It's just very refreshing, but its effects don't last that long. And
you? You could be in the advert, Alex.
The thing is, though, if it was like going on the whole time that you were hot, then it would be effective.
If I could just have one of those like
So,
constantly attached to my face,
They
like
have
springs.
giant ones of these dotted about the parks in Universal in Florida.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's really hot in Florida, and you can just go and stand underneath them, and they're just constantly spraying out this mist. But I wonder whether it is Magicool water.
They have that in the parks in Madrid as well.
Yeah.
I think they have quite a few parks that are hot but also quite well off.
So maybe we should just get you a portable one of those.
That'd be nice. I'd be okay with that.
You can also buy these fans that have the water can scoosh out of them at the same time as well, which is kind of like that.
Yeah.
But you just fill it up with more water and just it's a battery powered sort of fan. Kind of
Which might be cheaper for you.
potentially in the long run. But yeah, being sweaty, it's always an uncomfortableness.
It just makes me even more self-conscious than I normally am, and I'm like, I can't interact with people normally because they'll hate me because then they're like, why you sweaty bastard? Get away from me.
I mean, there's a part of me that kind of sometimes feels getting sweatier. Like if you're doing like a very physical thing, like running or that kind of stuff, and you're sweating, you almost feel like it's like
that's kind of a
subconsciously
nicer,
healthy. Like
that's a nicer kind of sweat. That's more
you.
like the condensation on Coke cans type sweat.
Or I've been a few times in like a sauna or a steam room, and that kind of like sweating. Do you feel like you're getting stuff out of your pores? It's like clearing it.
Sweating is your body efficiently trying to.
The thing is,
down.
it's a good thing, really. It is helpful. If it went away, it would probably be bad for you.
Very bad for us. I think humans are one of the few animals that actually can sweat all over their body, kind of thing. Like
I think because dogs famously, I think, can't sweat, and that's why it's so bad to leave them in a hot car because they don't have a way of regulating their body temperature like we do.
They stick their tongue out to sort of help themselves cool down.
So we're lucky in a way that we have the ability. It's just that it's not socially, it's not seen as a particularly nice thing.
But also for comfort thing, like when you're wearing something and you're sweating like in your back, like I've had it where I've been a warm day and I've ran for the bus and it's sort of kicked me off my sweating thing. I'm like, oh god, now I feel rubbish.
Yeah.
I would never wear a grey top like you're wearing now.
I know. I was wearing a green shirt earlier, and it was just
big
when I got
arm
home, it
rings.
was just armpits stains, and it was horrible.
Yeah. When I was younger, one of my family members, because I was really conscious about it as a teenager, and there was certain like coloured clothes that I wouldn't wear, like grey and dark green. I was told that you can have like Botox injections under your arms.
Oh no!
Wow.
That stops you from sweating, and it seems really extreme.
That seems bad.
Yeah.
It seems like something you shouldn't stop from
I mean,
happening.
It does kind of.
But apparently, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I was told that they do prescribe this on the NHS for in certain extreme cases.
Yeah, extreme cases. I guess it makes
Maybe
sense if it's really
maybe
affecting
like
your life.
it's just will sweat somewhere else. It's less socially or aesthetically unpleasing. Because there is, I guess, a thing of like both men and women, if like they had sweat spots or that for some reason, it's across as like a bit shaming, that kind of thing. Which to be honest, like we're all human.
It's another thing like Michelangelo's David. We should probably just be a bit more accepting of it. But I mean, we've got to the point where we expect a level of cleanliness that is well beyond what historically people have probably bothered to do.
Totally. We live in a sort of the Photoshop world now. Kind of thing, where these things can be sort of removed entirely and everything looks perfect in a certain extent. So I genuinely feel that like, I don't know, a sweaty person that sort of looks sweaty, they shouldn't be sort of like looked upon as like, oh, they're disgusting, or they're not altogether at all, like across the road for that kind of stuff. But I more look at sort of being sweaty as bad because my own experience of being sweaty, you just feel uncomfortable, right? And like yesterday was roasting as a day for us in Edinburgh at least, and it was really, really hot, so I did have to go into the shower one more than I would usually go in the shower in the daytime, just because that much sort of sweat accumulates over the day kind of thing. You just feel like, oh.
Yeah, that was the 26th of May 2017. If you're when you look it up, I think it felt to me like one of the hottest days I've ever experienced.
Hell on earth.
Yeah.
But if we're coming at the angle that feeling sweaty is uncomfortable and often embarrassing and can be debilitating in some cases, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, I think it should go pretty low on the list, because it is actually, it seems like such a trivial thing, but to me it actually does make me very self-conscious a lot of the time, especially in summer.
I feel like it's not something that people should be self-conscious about, but I feel if you're personally feeling sweaty, usually you don't feel great being sweaty.
Yeah, it does.
Would you put it above the common cold?
Probably.
Yeah, probably above the common cold.
Yeah, it's not far above that though, because it's.
I know it's in that area definitely, but I think the common cold is really pretty rubbish and it's an illness. I mean, being sweaty there's certain solutions to alleviating it quite quickly, and the common cold will stick around for a good bit of time.
And sweating does have benefits. To be fair, it does. Like, it evolved for a reason. So
it's
maybe under the American tipping system then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for bringing a real negative one there, Alex. We need to keep that one. So I guess I'll finish it off then.
Yes.
Well, I brought, for my one for summertime, is the summer holidays.
Aww.
Which, I mean, is more something that I guess is more like important for, say, school children or families or that kind of thing.
Or students.
Students as well, to a certain extent. Yeah, people that are sort of in the educational timetable. Because, I mean, professional people on their own, they could have holidays whenever they really want in the time of year. It doesn't have to be at summertime.
You're talking about as in time off from whatever you're doing, not necessarily going away somewhere.
Yeah.
Those are sort of different things.
Not really time off. I'm talking about just like the traditional summer holiday time, and you don't have to go off somewhere. You can still have it in Britain, kind of thing, even like in your own house. Yeah, but it's that kind of time period, like the educational, I guess, time. It was summer holidays. That so kind of period.
It was.
I really look back on it and rose-tinted glasses as like every one of my summer holidays was great or lovely. The ones both abroad and both at home, kind of thing. And it was also, I feel like when I look back on it for my own ones, that days used to go on forever, and the whole summer holiday was like a big sort of like, oh, amazing 6 feet of time kind of thing. I've got sort of quite early memories. Actually, yeah, a lot of my earlier memories, I remember summer holiday time, like going to France or going to my aunt's for like a week or that kind of stuff. I guess because it's some of the more sort of lovely fun times we had. School days seem to more sort of gel into one sort of long period of just boring education. So I don't know, I like summer holidays. I think there's something really nice about them. And there's also that sort of fun going on holiday as a family can be kind of fun. There's a lot of problems with it, especially when you grow older and all that. But at the same time, it does feel unique, a kind of unique experience. I don't have much to say about summer holidays, but I really like them. So.
Yeah, I mean, the last day of school, when you was just about to break up for summer holidays, oh, that sense of euphoria. It's nearly over.
I mean,
and you just got this long 6-week period stretching in front of you.
Yeah, that was amazing. That felt like forever. Like 6 weeks just felt, wow.
But it is such a long time. If you think about at work, having 6 weeks off work as an adult would be huge. Like having 2 weeks off work as an adult is seen as a big thing in our office. So 6 weeks. Wow.
To me, it's not even so much what happens during those 6 weeks, it's the absence of school.
Oh.
The best thing about it, by far.
Amen to that. We're all feeling quite nostalgic now, peacefully looking back.
I'm just reminiscing, because I'm not the busiest person in the world. Like, I always have random little things to do, but back in the day, I think there were just weeks when I had nothing in my calendar at all. I can't imagine that now. That's just crazy. Just like waking up in the morning, what am I going to do today? I don't know.
It's
don't
just
have anything to do.
It's very rare to have that period of time where you don't have anything to do. That's really, really rare. And the summer holidays presents you with that opportunity.
Yeah, I just sort of vaguely remember. It's hard to know what memories actually happened a lot and which ones just happened once and they stick in your mind. It's all very hazy now, but like I remember just playing games on computer, the Spectrum, back in, that was the very olden days, and just going out on bikes after I learned to ride a bike. I was late to that party, but making dens in the woods.
That's a good one.
A lot of time spent with my grandparents, with my parents both working full time. We would always be at my grandma and granddad's house, and grandma trying to entertain me, and it feels like I was constantly asking whether we could go to the library. I wonder whether she remembers that the same as I do. I was always so excited to go to the library.
Surprised me a great deal.
But yeah, it's weird because I wonder whether during that time I was ever bored. I can never remember being bored, but I'm sure I was.
I think I was bored sometimes. Like, I'm never really bored anymore. I think as you get older, you realise, there's so much to do in the world, and you can always fill up time. Whereas back then, well, not only do you not have as many interests, not in a deep sort of way where you're actually genuinely interested in things, but you also feel like you have infinite time, so you're more careless with it, where you just waste it away, just fritter it away, and that can be very fun in its own way. And I think it's sort of part of growing up is frittering away time. So it's not like you should look back and be ashamed of that or anything, because it's just what everyone does, I think, at a certain point in their lives. Sort of bumbling through life and enjoying the sun and whatever's going on.
That could be a bit healthy for people.
Yeah, it's nice in a way.
It's quite good.
There's something more carefree and innocent about that.
Yeah.
Now, when you've got all this stuff lined up in your calendar and you think, I've got to do that later, I better do this thing now.
I think the summer holidays is a good one, Euan.
I agree.
Jumped to mind when you said summers, I think.
I think the only thing I would say about it is I don't really get that feeling anymore of this long period of time off.
It's same with kind of like Christmas in a sense, where like as a kid it's a bit more important and a bit more kind of magical. Well, now it's sort of something you look back on as like that was a more childish thing, and now it's more just like as one of those things kind of thing.
I still really like Christmas actually, but I think I'm weird.
No, I've learned to love Christmas as an adult. I didn't like it as a kid. Maybe that's one for another podcast.
It's one for another podcast, definitely.
Maybe in like 7 months. Christmas.
Potentially, yes. But I look back at it fondly. It's also nice that I feel like it's that period of time where people, I think, guaranteed the best out of weather's going to be there, and the most time weather you can have outdoors. So it's good that they've sort of like people aren't being still locked inside to learn, to read and write, and all these sort of lessons during the best kind of weather kind of thing. So there's some like acknowledgement that, well, if you're going to have a time off, better have it this time off.
And it's always like longer days. So I remember when we did go out playing, like, you know, with friends and things, you could stay out longer. Which was always nice. Yeah. Goes back to that like never ending day type feeling.
Totally.
So we're about on the list.
Yeah. I think it's generally one of the good ones. I think it's above Furby's summer holidays. Maybe it's around where Mario is.
Sure, many people have spent their summer holidays playing Mario.
I think
they do feel quite linked.
I believe I did complete the first Super Mario during the summer holidays, so that's connected.
It's funny because I think it's probably around that area being unable to stop laughing as well, because you associate summer holidays with joy and fun and...
So maybe just below Mario?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too.
Cool. Is that everything for now, for today? I think that's all our things.
That's everything for
That's all our things.
Yay.
Everything. We now have a list of 79 things, and we need to do nudges and grudges.
Oh yes, nudges and grudges. Yeah.
Anything jump out? Oh, I had something and I've forgotten it. What was it? Damn it! No. Oh, I've got it. No, I haven't. What? I've got it.
I can't find anything that I'd want to change right now. I'm quite
okay.
So I'm going to pass.
Very conservative about your use of nudges and grudges.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy.
Really?
Pretty happy.
I thought you were just going to be constantly bumping 1984 down until...
Well, this is a thing, right? I've not been to Switzerland, but I'm sure it's better than 1984.
Thank you, BBC, for that little
Some
thing.
breaking news. That's worrying.
Nothing bad.
Good.
So.
Yes.
Yes, I would. You have prompted me into wanting to grudge 1984. Get that down the list.
I think I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Under Switzerland.
Under Switzerland.
I feel slightly guilty about Switzerland.
It is a country.
Yeah, it's got 8 million people, I think, so we like Switzerland. Okay, I'm going to grudge down video conferencing below party balloons, because I think it should be down further. I think we put it too high up, because James had a lot of negatives about it. He says it just never bloody works.
I can echo
Whereas
that,
party
James.
balloons are
Working in an office that uses video conferencing,
it
it
never
is
works.
more trouble than it is worth.
Oh, so there you go. Do you use it much, video conferencing?
Not really, but I like party balloons. I use them a lot more. Yeah, I always have them at my birthday parties. Mark will not be happy, but...
Mark won't be happy.
Oh well, that's a problem for another day.
Yeah.
For now, that was our episode 10.
Yeah.
I think it was a
jolly good
it
one.
lived up to being the first
I enjoyed that.
landmark one. And anyone got anything else to say?
I've got one thing to say, actually. I missed an earlier trick or a joke, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
Oh, go on.
When you
finish on it. It's fine.
when you brought up marriage, and we were going to ask you where to place it, I was going to say, where do you propose it's going to go? And I missed that one, and I'm really sorry about it. I'm sure there's people listening that are kind of like, you should have said that! And it's really missed opportunity there, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Sorry everyone. And on that note, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Very somber.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Everything vs. Everything. Today's panellists were Alanna Thornbury, Euan Gilmore, and me, Alex Perry. Visit our website at everythingbeeverything.wordpress.com. Subscribe to our RSS feed, review us on iTunes, and all that good stuff. You can also check out my other silly podcast, Rainy Day Adventure Club, at rainydayadventureclub.wordpress.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.